Hey guys, welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are actually taking a look at a unique action shooter, 3D shooter style game by the name of Crisis City. This game now was primarily only released in Japan back in 1998 and was essentially really unheard of outside of that region. Honestly, now myself, I knew nothing about this. If anything, to be totally honest, I've only actually literally come across this game myself only recently, as I was doing a few reviews and looking for a few games to try and play something a wee bit different. And I just happened to stumble across this. I actually, to be honest, I knew nothing about it. There's very little information online regarding what the game is actually about, but essentially from playing it, you kind of get the idea of what it's about. So it's an action shooter combat style game based in like 3D kind of pre-rendered background style environments. And honestly, that's the one thing that kind of appealed to me straight away, because like there's 3D characters but the backgrounds are pre-rendered, fixed with fixed camera angles. You move from one point to the next and the camera changes depending on whereabouts on the screen that you are. It's very, very similar to the likes of if you played Resident Evil. Now again, the camera styles aren't as intricate as those type of games, but when you do move to a different point, the camera does change, so it does give you a different variation of the elements of the room that you're in. And actually, having played it for the first few minutes, I was actually quite surprised but also very impressed, because this reminds me definitely of a like type of games that you would have played in the arcade. And if I'll be honest, I never really seen much of these type of games, not to this type of degree. I played a lot of like 3D kind of style shooters on the PlayStation, and some of them were really good, but I never really played anything like this that actually had pre-rendered backgrounds. This was kind of a thing that was never really unheard of. They're always like 3D kind of more or less linear style shooters. Now again, this is a linear style game, but you do have freedom to move around your environment at will within the confines of the level that you're in, which is actually pretty cool. And straight away, like, it did for me reflect off that old school nostalgia of the likes of those old type of games like I mentioned, because I love pre-rendered background games. But the fact is that there's so much action in it, because to be honest, actually, from having played this for a while, this game is very, very frantic, very, very fast paced, and it's just action, action, action. It's just like your typical action game, but like pretty much like on steroids, because there's nothing but just explosions galore. It's just it is actually insane, and it's actually, you know what, it's so much fun. It's not easy, I will admit. There's definitely a learning curve behind it, but it's actually so much fun. And it's definitely a game I'm going to look into more and try to see if I can find more about it. I have been trying to look online, but there's very little information regarding the actual background story of the game. But from what I have been able to find out, you literally primarily have access to a number of different characters, each with their own different combat abilities and attributes. You will unlock them throughout the course of the campaign through the story mode, but you also have access to like sort of a time attack mode where you do have to complete the levels in a quick time frame. But you've also got a versus mode that'll be similar to your typical like fighting style games, where it's like one on one, so it's kind of like fight to the death kind of thing. But the one thing that straight away kind of captures my eye, because not only does it have the pre-rendered backgrounds, which I love, but the elements in the game are really kind of something like out of an action movie. Like even you see the way like the cars there, they're screaming around the screen, they're doing handbrake turns, they're trying to knock you over, they're just, everything's just blowing up around you. It is absolutely just mental. And again, it's just absolutely crazy. It's just frantic, and it's actually so much fun, and it's really, really just really engaging. The controls, it does take a little bit to get used to, but again, it has a lock-on system, so you can lock on to enemies. So it definitely makes it a lot easier for you to actually be able to take them out. But this game's just crazy, and it's actually so much fun. And the funny thing about it, I didn't not even know this game existed. I literally only just found it just by actually just looking for a game to play to do this video. And I just happened to stumble across it. I knew nothing about it, didn't even know it even existed. And you know what, I'm actually glad I found it, because this is actually a hidden gem and it's so much fun. This game is cool, it really is. it actually does reflect of like games kind of that I have played that they wouldn't so much be similar in style to some degree, like 3D shooters. But I have played games like in the arcade and even like on the Sega Saturn, even in Sega Dreamcast, that had similar style vibes. But I'd never really seen one like that on the PlayStation 1, especially not in Europe. Not to this degree of just out and out chaos and craziness, because this is actually really good fun. And the cool thing about it is you can play this in multiplayer, so you can play this with another player. So that definitely, if you have a mate or family members that you want to play this with, and you get the chance to play it with 2 controllers, by all means do, because I have to say, in my time actually playing this, now I only played through the first couple of levels with doing this video, but I had a blast. This game is actually so much fun. It is difficult, it's not easy, but I genuinely had a great laugh playing this, and this is definitely the style of game that I do remember playing, just frantic and crazy. But this is way more frantic than what I remember most games on the PlayStation. For me already, from having played this is, for me, is a hidden gem. And it is actually a really good game. Again, it has a lot of the characteristics that I really enjoy with those old style games. It has 3D graphics, really frantic and really cool style action based gameplay. Plus it has pre-rendered backgrounds, everything pretty much that I like in games, and it puts it all together quite nicely. And it does offer a really presentable and difficult challenge. You do have to adapt your gameplay depending on certain environments and combat situations that you're in, especially when the likes of which you're against bosses. Sometimes, like with the likes of this boss here, if you go in to try and just go meet him bullet for bullet, you'll pretty much die. So it took me a few attempts, even though I didn't record them on this video, because I kept actually dying. So I had to kind of just play around with it a wee bit till I figured out a kind of a tactic that I could actually use to beat him with. So as you can see here, I managed to actually do that. So it actually took a while to do it, but again, that's just the fun of it. So this game is definitely enjoyable. So I highly recommend, if you haven't tried Crisis City, or you want to know more about it, I highly recommend that you go and try and check it out. If you can either get a copy of it online or just try to get to play it in some shape or form, because it is actually really good. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear your comments on this game or what you think about it. Make sure to let me know. So if you have liked this video, please be sure to leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel and make sure to hit that bell icon to be updated whenever I release future videos, as I will be trying to play other games similar to this here. So make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.